Finally, the shift ended. The 8 hours had seemed like an eternity of being yelled and bitched at. I think the only ones who had not yelled at me were Sergeant Ellis and Mr. Shaw. Probably both of them had been off that day. We ate at the mess hall and then went back to the barracks. I visited the kiosk and my financial advisor Johnny, who now had another relative wanting to sell portions in a Kalisa business. Hell, I didn't even know what a Kalisa was. Johnny promised to show me the Kalisa, but I can invest in it on his personal guarantee. All right. I drank a San Miguel, Philippines. You got to make sure the Philippines is on the back of the bottle. Because I had been warned not to drink Manila beer because it was green. Sat around and BS with the other guys that there that had no passes. As I saw it, the only ones who ever visited the kiosk for any period of time were the card players, various barracks rats, and nugs like us who didn't have the pass. After a few beers, went upstairs, took a shower, being careful not to drop the soap. At that point in my life, I still believed just about everything that someone told me. After showering, went back to the room. Of course, Reiner and Willard had gone downtown or somewhere off shift. Rarely did I see that couple. Reiner had his moose. Willard had Hallie's motorcycle. In fact, there was a lot of people who had motorcycles. We even had a few who had taken flying lessons and had their private pilot licenses. After messing around a bit, I jumped on the top bunk. Reiner and Willard had the two floor-level bunks and the wood wall lockers. Well, I had the metal one that Francisco pulled maintenance on regularly, and probably if it wasn't for it standing in the corner, it would have collapsed. I was still trying to figure this light bulb business out. That was left burning in the wall locker. It was supposed to prevent mildew. Listened to the radio for a while, until after it turned dark, and then I fell asleep. It seemed that immediately that I was visited by the killer receive bank. Everywhere I looked, including the wall locker, tape was pouring out and had almost reached the level of the top bunk. I woke up and jumped onto the floor. Went to the kiosk. No one other than Johnny was there. I had him heat me up a can of soup and took it back upstairs, where I ran into Willie Moore on the way. He followed me to the room, and I told him of my dream, and he told me there was only one answer. That was to go to town. But I reminded him, hey, I don't have no pass, and he had the solution that, hey, I can go on downtown and you borrow somebody else's. But I thought, I'm supposed to be eligible for a pass the next day, so I'll pass on that one. The next day at work, it was a lot easier. It seemed that a number of the old guys had worked out their annexity about us nuggets. Also, someone was leaving, and they were talking about a chat party. I had finally figured out the rudiments of Bardic code, and had noticed that if I learned a few letters, that I had it pretty well licked. I did, however, continue to perturb the sin bank off, because usually I put too much red ink on the flashes. It seemed that they got water wrong and got stuck on the TD. They were trying to take them, and they were having to take them to the service section to rerun the tapes. Oh, Al Lenzemeyer didn't appreciate that. Waltmeyer wasn't faring much better. He was also getting chewed out on a regular basis. The nugs that were on AMAS were also staying in trouble. I hope I never have to go through nugism again. That afternoon after we got off, I got my civilian clothes on, went down to the order room to get my pass. The first sergeant, for Sergeant Janowick, was still there. He was interested in why I thought I deserved a pass. He wanted to know who I was going with, how much money I was taking along, and if I was taking any protection, etc., etc. First Sergeant Janowick was my mother's substitute, I guess. It was about quitting time for the locals. We jumped on a bus, which was packed nuts a bus. It seemed we rode forever and finally arrived at the gate. Everyone jumped off. I got in line with the crowd and had my ID card out along with a pass. The airmen hardly noticed that I had them out. I stepped to the side and gazed over at the parking lot filled with jeepneys and surrounded by market stands. Jim Sharon, the airman that I had graduated high school with, asked me if I needed to change any money. I said no. I had already done it at the bank on post. He looked at me like I truly was moved and downright stupid. Then he stopped in one of the stands and got an extra peso that he changed.
Ikaw lamang ang aking laging pinabalikan. Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply ain't no place like Manila. Manila, I'm coming home. I've tried the rides in Disneyland, dated a million girls in Sydney. Somehow I feel like I don't belong. Hinahanap kita Manila. Ang ingay mong kay sarap sa tenga. Mga jeepney mong nagliliparan, mga babae mong nagagandahan. Take me back in your arms, Manila, and promise me you'll never let go. Promise me you'll never let go. Manila, Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply ain't no place like Manila. Manila, I'm coming home. Manila, Manila, miss you like hell, Manila. No place in the world